There's a piece of coastline where the waves have been hitting the same rock for probably longer than any of us can really picture. Storm after storm, same spot. And the rock is still there. Somewhere around 170 AD, a man sitting in an army tent, tired, dealing with plague, war, a job he never really wanted, wrote himself a note about that rock. His name was Marcus Aurelius, and the note was this: "Be like the rocky headland, on which the waves constantly break. It stands firm, and round it, the seething waters are laid to rest." Think about that for a second. A headland, a cliff jutting into the sea, doesn't fight the waves. It doesn't get angry at them. It doesn't brace or flinch or try to negotiate with the tide. It just stands there, doing what it is. And the water, no matter how violently it arrives, has no choice but to lose its force against it and go still. Now, here's the question Marcus is really asking underneath that image. What is the rock actually made of? Because if the rock were made of sand, this whole idea falls apart in about 4 sentences. And he answers this too, in another note. He says, "Look, whatever I am, I'm 3 things: flesh, breath, and mind." The flesh, bones, blood, tissue, that's disposable, replaceable. Honestly, not that impressive if you look at it closely. The breath, just air, in and out. Nothing you even control. But the third thing, the mind, the part of you that decides, that judges, that chooses how to respond, that's the actual rock. That's the part that can stand in the sea and not be moved. Most of us think our peace depends on the size of the wave. But Marcus pushes back on this. Hard. He writes that nothing is really a misfortune for a person, unless it goes against that person's nature, unless it stops you from being who you actually are. Honest, steady, clear-headed, kind. A wave hitting a rock doesn't stop the rock from being a rock. So a hardship hitting you, a diagnosis, a layoff, a betrayal, a loss, doesn't stop you from being you, unless you let it. And this is where it gets interesting, because he adds something almost provocative. He says, "Notice that 2 people can go through the exact same storm. The same wave hits both of them, and one person stays calm, genuinely at peace, untroubled. The other one falls apart completely." Now, he says something sharp here, and I want to be honest. This line stings a little. He says one of those 2 people stays calm, not always because they're wise. Sometimes, it's simply because they don't fully grasp what's happened to them yet. Ignorance can look like calm. But the other version, real calm, earned calm, that's courage. That's someone who understood exactly how bad it was, and stood anyway. And then he says the quiet part out loud. Isn't it strange that ignorance and pretending can sometimes look just as strong as actual wisdom? That's the trap, isn't it? From the outside, the guy who's numb and the guy who's genuinely at peace, they look identical, both standing still while the wave crashes. But only one of them is actually rock. The other one just hasn't noticed the water yet. So here's the real question this whole idea is handing you. When the wave comes, are you standing firm because you've actually done the work of understanding what you can and can't control? Or are you just standing there because you haven't looked down yet? Because a headland isn't strong by accident. It's strong because of what it's made of, laid down over time, long before the storm arrives. The same is true for you. The calm you want in the middle of the crisis isn't built in the crisis. It's built in the ordinary days before it. Every time you choose the response instead of the reaction. So the next time something crashes into your life, and it doesn't have to be dramatic, it can just be a bad meeting, a hard conversation, a plan falling apart. Try asking yourself one question, the way Marcus might have asked it, in his tent, alone, at night. Is this actually against my nature? Or is it just water, hitting rock and going still?